From a man breaking apartment windows in a fit of rage while already out on bond for assault.
A property manager who stated she was working inside the leasing office when she received a call from a resident stating there was a man breaking windows inside the apartment complex.
To another repeatedly defying orders and resisting law enforcement during a bar altercation.
The defendant was asked to leave by bar employees because he got into an altercation with another individual.
These cases highlight Judge Fleischer's firm stance on accountability, starting with Mr. Sims, whose reckless decision to commit another crime while already out on bond for assault leaves you questioning just how many chances offenders like him needs before they truly learn from their mistakes.
Good morning, Judge.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing great. So you were on bond for an assault case, and now you've picked up a new case. You've picked up a criminal mischief. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you. So Mr. Sims was appointed to represent you on the assault. He's now also going to represent you on the criminal mischief. I have no idea what happened. So we're going to do probable cause real quick because I want to see what happened, and then we'll go from there. Okay?
Yes, Judge. On December 12th, 2024, the officer was dispatched to an apartment complex regarding a disturbance. Upon arrival, the officer met with the complainant, the property manager, who stated she was working inside the leasing office when she received a call from a resident stating there was a man breaking windows inside the apartment complex. The complainant stated she left immediately and saw the defendant walk up to a unit and smash the front window with a closed fist and elbow. The complainant stated the defendant then walked into his apartment, a next door unit, and the complainant stated she recognized the defendant and has had multiple issues with him in the past. The complainant stated both the front windows of the two next door units were destroyed, and each window would cost $1,000 to fix, so a total of $2,000.
So I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. You know, we gave you a PR bond. All we asked you to do is not get in trouble, and now you've picked up a new case.
Sir, I have an illness. I kind of had my house got broken into.
But I don't want to talk about the case because we've got a bunch of DAs here, and then whatever you say, they can use against you. But what we can do now is I don't know how to go forward with this. You know, all I know is that we've asked you not to pick up a new case, and you've picked up a new case. And all I want, Mr. Said, is I want my county safe. That's it. And I don't know how to go forward. So perhaps we get a TRAS done to see how we go forward. In the interim, let's see what the state says about, you know, your lawyer had worked out a great offer for you on the first case where it was going to be a mental health diversion program where if you get a little help, they were going to dismiss the case. I don't know how we're going to go forward now because of this new case. We need a little bit of time to figure out how we're going to go forward though. So I know you want to get out, but
I want to get help.
I don't know how comfortable I feel giving you another PR bond. We gave you one and here we are again. If I give you another one, what's going to happen? It's a rhetorical question. I don't want you to answer, but that's what I'm thinking now. If I give you another PR bond, what's going to happen? Who do you have here in your life that's here to help you?
My father, mother, sister.
Okay. So what I'd like to do is this, is that I'd like to get in, perhaps Mr. Sims can get in touch with your family to see how best we also go forward. You know, I don't know who you're living with. I don't know whether they're able to, you know.
You have your own apartment, correct? He lives by himself in his own apartment.
Yeah, I still would like to reach out to your family to see how we go forward. The other thing is this, is that normally when we have cases like this, I forbid you from going back to the apartment complex.
That's what I was gonna put you on, Judge. I will need to speak to the leasing officer. I don't know if they will still want him. I don't know if they're planning to evict him because the two units that he caused damage to were in the apartment complex that he lives in. So I don't know how.
And I'll tell you, I don't know.
We just step out and.
No. I mean, because nothing's going to happen right now anyway. So I guess reach out to them, see what their feelings are on the matter. Now, we're not going to take a long time to do this, Mr. Said, but I don't know how to go forward, and we need to figure it out the best way for you so that we don't want this to happen again. And we don't want something even more catastrophic to happen. So I'm going to ask Mr. Sims to reach out to your family. We'll also see about getting you with a TRAS to see how we also go forward with this as well. And then with the state to see if they're still okay with the mental health PTI, okay? So basically what I'm trying to tell you is that it's gonna take a couple days to get this done, okay?
I don't think I have a lot of health problems. One of them,
I'll let you talk with Mr. Sims and he can tell you, he can tell me what and how to go forward, okay? But I don't want you to say anything now because, like I said, I don't want you to get in further trouble, okay?
While Mr. Sims faced consequences for his actions, here's Mr. Thomas, now facing charges after attempting to evade arrest in a stolen vehicle. It's outrageous how some feel they can easily get away with their crimes.
Good morning, Mr. Thomas. Sir, you're charged with evading arrest or detention. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On December 2nd, 2024, officers were conducting a routine patrol in a marked vehicle and wearing marked uniforms. The officer ran a license plate through MDT and received a stolen vehicle hit. The officer drove behind the stolen vehicle, which eventually parked, and the officer initiated a felony traffic stop. The defendant then exited the motor vehicle by opening the front passenger door. The officer gave verbal commands, and the defendant evaded by running from the scene approximately 0.3 miles until he was detained.
Any co-defendants?
There is a co-defendant, Your Honor, and he's currently charged with UUMB in felony court.
All right, Mr. Thomas, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Do not hang around with the co-defendant. Do you understand? I'm making that a condition of your bond. How old are you, sir? What do you do for a living?
Currently unemployed. I'm going to high school.
Good. I'm making that a condition of your bond. I'm also ordering you not to use any drugs. Do you understand? I'm sending you for a test now. You must go test and then come back and then we're going to talk about the results. And I'm happy to appoint you a lawyer today. No more drugs. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just take a seat for me. We'll send you and then we'll have you come right back, sir.
I already have a lawyer.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll also wait for your lawyer as well. Okay. Please.
Unlike Mr. Sims's case, this time it's Miz Torres facing the weight of assault charges.
So I know so to the judge, I know your honor, and know, yes, your honor.
Good morning, Ms. Torres. Ma'am, you're charged with assault, bodily injury. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You have worked out an agreement where they're offering you a deferred adjudication. This is a great deal. If you can complete it successfully, you do not end up with a conviction on your record, which is really important, but you need to understand that you give up nearly every right known to man by entering into this agreement. And if you complete it successfully, like I said, you don't end up with a conviction, but if you do something to violate this agreement, we issue a warrant for your arrest. We put you in custody, bring you back out, determine if you violated it. And if you did, you're looking at an entire year in jail. You understand? To complete it successfully, you must do a thinking for a change. You must also do an anger management class. You must also do a TRAS, which is an evaluation to see what other conditions you may need. If they assess further conditions, you must fulfill them. No threatening, harassing, or abusive contact with the Derek Michael Waters and Miss Mendoza. Do you understand? Like I said, if you violate this, we issue a warrant for your arrest, and then you're looking at a lot of time in jail. I'll make you a deal. If you do well, you get all your classes done. If you're nice to everybody, we can perhaps take you off in half the time. It could be done in 6 months if you get everything done quick. And most of all, be nice to everybody. Which thinking for a change did you want?
Whatever the standard one is, that's all the plea report, that's being for a change, whatever the standard course is.
So I guess just do the smaller one. Yeah. Right. It's a big deal because there's the long thinking for change, which is 4 months, and then there's the smaller one. So we're not asking much. You also understand there's no weapons and you cannot consume alcohol or illegal drugs as well. How old are you, man?
How old are you, Judge?
Hmm?
How old are you,
How
ma'am?
old are you?
19.
19.
Did you
No.
graduate from high school?
Hmm?
Did you graduate from high school? Okay.
No, sir, and yes, sir, to the judge.
So
Okay?
what are you going to do with yourself? What are you
Ma'am,
going to do with yourself? Shh. You're 19. You didn't graduate from high school. Where are you going?
I'm trying to go for it. I've been working right now. I'm in the motion of getting my GED.
I'd like to make that a condition as well, please. Guys, if you don't, if you're okay with that,
Yes, Judge, we're okay with that.
That's probably one of the most important things here. You cannot go through life without having your GED. You will make pennies to when anybody else is making $1. It's a proven fact. You have to have at least a high school education. You have to know something in this life. Knowledge is power. Don't rely on a man. That man may never be there in the future for you. And if you don't have a skill, if you don't have a trade, if you don't have a career, you'll be penniless and life sucks without money. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what I'm going to do is within 3 weeks, we want to see that she's signed up for a GED class. I'd like to keep it here, or I'd like to keep it close so that we can like seriously monitor her. I'm going to monitor you myself because I want to make sure that you're at least getting your GED.
Yes,
It's
sir.
extremely important. Do you understand, Miz Torres?
Yes, sir.
I will waive all your costs for everything that I can. It's never about money. It's about you doing what you say you're going to do and staying out of trouble. You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal. So once you accept this agreement, once you are in with us, you're signing a contract with us. And I'm going to tell you now, I will hold you to this until you get your GED. And if you start playing with us, you start toying with us, we can amend it, put you in, take you back out until you take us seriously. No dope, no alcohol, get your GED. If you ever have a question, if you ever have an issue, all you have to do is tell us. In here, you have to be able to talk with us, tell us what's going on if there's ever a problem. If you just take off and you blow us off, I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. You will end up going to jail. And I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to hold you to this until at a minimum you get your GED. You understand? How do you plead to the offense? Guilty or not guilty?
Sorry?
How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty? I'm not going to find you guilty. I will withhold that for a year. Get it done. Make us proud. Good luck, man.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Good.
Yes, sir.
It's outrageous how these offenders feel they can recklessly turn the road into their racetrack. Here's Mr. Mrelle, now facing charges for racing on a highway, a dangerous act that puts countless lives at risk. But as expected, he didn't care about that.
Sir, plea for this is second racing.
Mr. Mrelle, you're charged with racing on a highway. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You've worked out an agreement. They're offering you 1 day in jail, credit for the 1 day that you've done. This is now a conviction on your record. It's going to be there for the rest of your life. Do you know that last week we had someone come in here with the same type of case and their car had been seized and taken? It was what was it, I think it was like a $70,000 car, $80,000 car that they had taken, seized, gone. You now are on notice. 610, 59, tollway, that's not the right place. There are proper places in Houston, but don't endanger my county. Do you understand? I promise you, dude. Hey, Stephen, what was that car that they seized? A Hellcat? Isn't that what it was? Imagine.
I have a charge of seized as well.
You know what I mean? Really, it's not hard. If you get the itch, find another place. Not on my highways. You understand? The other thing you need to understand is that from now on, what we're doing today, you're now facing a minimum of 30 days in jail for any new cases that you pick up. Minimum 30 days. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. So once you plead guilty, that's it. It will go on your record. It's going to be there for the rest of your life. Is this what you want to do? How do you plead to the offense, sir? Guilty or not guilty? I will find you guilty, send it to you, the agreement. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you, sir. Take care. Yes, sir.
This time it's Ms. Mrelle, facing charges for driving while intoxicated.
All right. Alexia, Rochelle, come up.
We were just going to do this plea a couple weeks ago, and Your Honor,
You don't,
encouraged
don't
PTI.
have to say anything else.
Okay,
If
okay.
it just doesn't work, it just doesn't work. I mean, Ms. Rochelle, you're old enough to understand that actions have consequences. And then when you do this, this is a lifetime action, You cannot come back in this future and say, you know what, I changed my mind. I've got buyer's remorse. I want to return it like I want to go to Target. Once you plead guilty, that's it. Goes on your record. And there are consequences. You get pulled over, an officer's going to see this. You have the smell of alcohol, you got the smell of dope. What's going to happen? You have to be conscious. And what we're doing today, the proverbial slap on the wrist, from now on, you're facing a minimum of 30 days in jail. Do you understand? You give up a lot of rights by entering into this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on behalf, confront and cross-examine the accusers, the right to be arraigned, charged, read in open court. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeals, is what I was saying, that once you plead guilty, there's no turning back. Do you understand? Is this what you want to do? How do you plead to the offense of driving while intoxicated? Guilty or not guilty? You are facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. But like I'm telling you, this can be used to enhance punishment in the future. From now on, you will be looking at a second DWI if you pick one up. And from now on, it's up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine, not to mention a minimum of 30 days. Do you understand? All right. How did you plead? Guilty or not guilty? I will find you guilty, and I'm going to sentence you to the 3 days in jail. I'll give you credit for the 1 day that you've done. I'm going to suspend your license for 90 days, ma'am. Do not drive until you get a license. Now, the other thing that you need to understand is DWI is extremely big business in the state of Texas. And when you pick up a DWI, there are surcharges in the amount of around $3,000. If you have a 0.15 or above, it's $4,500 that you owe. And if you don't pay it, you don't get a license until you do. Do you understand? On a second DWI, it's a $6,000 surcharge, not to mention court costs. So you pick up a second DWI, you could be looking at around $7,000 in fines and fees when you walk out of here. So what I'm trying to tell you is one button on a phone, one button, wherever you want to go, they'll take you wherever. You understand? Where do we go from here? As far as surcharges and
Michelle's currently not working. She just got evicted from her apartment actually, and we'll be moving back to Arkansas, back home. So we have to have surcharges.
are you working?
No, I recently lost my vehicle, so I'm not able to get to work, which is why I recently got evicted, which is why I can't do the PTI. So I have to got the letter.
Are your folks around? Okay, go back. Go back. There's nothing wrong. When I graduated law school, I was what, 30s? I went back to my folks. I lived with my folks until I saved money, a ton of money, and I was to be able to get something else. There's nothing wrong with it. Go back, get on your feet, and be the best person you can. But that's what it's about. There's nothing wrong with going back to live at your house. Really. I did it, and we all do it, All right, I'll waive your surcharges. I'll waive the court costs. You're not going to go anything when you roll out here. The only thing that we ask of you is think before you act. Think before you speak, because God forbid you make some kind of mistake that's so catastrophic that you can't go back to mom and dad. All right. Good luck.
Hey, Judge.
Unlike Ms. Mrelle, here's Mr. Romero, facing charges for driving without car insurance, a careless choice despite knowing the heavy consequences it could bring.
Mr. Romero, sir, I want you to understand something, that Harris County, we have so many people here and we have so many accidents. It's ridiculous. We have car insurance for a reason. When you're driving, you're expected to maintain and follow the law. One of those is maintain liability car insurance, because when you don't and you get into an accident, there are very, very big consequences. Let's say, for example, somehow someone goes out, gets into an accident and kills someone. Who do you think they're going to come after? Right. And they will get a judgment, and then just who knows what they can attach, who knows how much they can sue you for. And when that happens, you'll never recover from it. That's why for $40 to $50 a month, you get insurance that protects you in the event. They can also give you a lawyer to help you with these types of cases when there's something that happens. But God forbid something catastrophic really happens and ruins your life because of it. I routinely get emails where people come to me and say, hey, how do I get help here? I've gotten into an accident. They're suing me for $50,000. And I know I now have to go hire a lawyer, and I don't have any money to go hire a lawyer. What do? This is real life. This is what you do. Now, in this case here, there is a deductible of how much? $500. That's part of the agreement. So that's something that it was part of the agreement when they initially did this. So you're working, right?
Not completely, sir.
Why not?
Since because the winter came, we got laid off. So all I've been doing, I've been going to Home Depot, and sometimes I get hired, sometimes I don't.
You have an ID.
No.
Have you ever tried to go get an ID?
I'm not from here.
You're not a citizen, Judge.
Yeah, I got laid off because of the winter, and all I've been going to Home Depot. And sometimes I get hired, sometimes I don't. And that's the only way, what I'm saying, I'm able to, in a sort of way, maintain paying bills.
You have children.
Yes, sir.
How are you supporting your children, man?
Well, the same way. I'm going by Home Depot, sending them money to them because I'm not with them.
There are other ways. Find a trade. I'm sure that you have friends that are either carpenters, brick masons, something other where you can learn a trade, be good at it,
Sir.
Make a name for yourself, and you can really make some money. Hanging out at Home Depot, waiting for someone that's not the one to find.
I mean, I hear you, sir. I hear you, but like you say, I've been going through like companies here. Trust me, I've been going everywhere. And my last resource, my last option is to go right there because, that's the only way that I can find something at the moment while I'm waiting for something to happen.
Judge, I'd like to see what documentation complainant can come with. So we can see the validity of that. If that is something that they're truly gonna want as a condition of anything, we have to put it on like a probation.
I mean, it's
a trial,
Are you okay with bypassing that? Are you okay with bypassing the deductible and just going forward with it?
I believe so, Judge.
The problem is, Mr. Ramirez, how is it fair?
It's not fair.
Why? It's
Not fair, sir. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm willing to like pay for my crime, pay.
But that's not what it's about. I get it. But the problem is now all you're doing is you're making your life more difficult in the process.
Yes, sir.
The more convictions you get, the harder it becomes to get a job. And the harder it becomes to get a job, all you're doing is you're continually shooting yourself in the foot over and over and over. This life can be either a great journey or it could be an awful journey.
Yes, sir.
And the more convictions you get,
The harder it is.
think before you act. Think before you speak. It's not hard. From now on, you're facing a minimum of 30 days in jail. You need to realize that. Don't get into a car if you don't have insurance. If you don't have a license, don't get into a car. I will have jurisdiction over you for the next 5 years. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
State, you okay with going forward?
Yes, Your Honor, we would be fine with the time served on the FSGI in exchange for the dismissal on the UCW, and we can waive rest.
And then as far as the weapon is forfeited, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the weapon will be forfeited. You're not going to get this weapon back. Do you understand?
Sir.
You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. This is gonna go on your record, like I said, and it's gonna be there for the rest of your life. From now on, you're facing a minimum of 30 days in jail for any new cases that you pick up. You understand? This can also have immigration consequences as well. If you're not a citizen, you can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. If you're not in this country with permission and you go to jail, it's only a matter of time before ICE gets a hold of you and you'll be stuck like Chuck in there. Do you understand? You better live with a freaking halo because you have a lot to lose.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're giving up the right to appeal. So once you plead guilty, there's no turning back. You cannot change this. You understand?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to the offense of failure to stop and give information? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
I'll find you guilty, sentence you to the 3 days in jail, credit for the time that you've done, is it 2 days? 9 days in jail, credit for the 3 days that you've done. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. All right, thanks, Will. And thank you.
It's pathetic how some offenders refuse to learn from their mistakes. This time, Judge Fleischer is faced with Mr. Brown, charged with driving while intoxicated for the second time.
Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement where they're offering you 180 days in jail to be probated for 12 months. You need to understand that even though they are reducing this to a first, that's still 2 DWIs now on your record. What happens on the next one? What happens?
Go to jail.
Not jail.
Prison.
Right. Minimum of 2 years, a maximum of 10 years in prison. And I'm going to tell you now, if an officer pulls you over, the only thing they look at is your record and how you look. You got that smell, even the funkiest smell, don't matter. You understand? So if I were you, I would never get in a car, even if you've had a sip of alcohol, because it's a humongous risk. Financial as well, because this is not going to be cheap for you. You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. So once you accept this agreement, there's no turning back. You understand? As part of this agreement, you will do a DWI repeat offender education program, 2 victim impact panels. You will also do what's called a TRAS. This is an evaluation to see what other conditions you may need. If they assess other conditions, you must fulfill them. They could say, supportive outpatient treatment. It may say intensive outpatient treatment, whatever it is. You must fulfill those conditions as well. No breath test refusal. So if you're pulled over in a car and an officer asks you to submit a breath sample, you must do it. No drugs, alcohol, guardian interlock. Do you have any children?
Yes, sir.
Okay. One of the things is 40 hours of community service. I think that probably a parenting class would be better than just mindless work. If you guys are okay with it.
Yes.
So is it true or untrue that you had a 0.15 or above in this case?
True. Yes, sir.
Okay. So a couple things. Don't drink alcohol. If you don't have a license, don't drive. You are now on this probation and we expect you to fulfill it. If you don't, there are serious, serious consequences. One of the other things is that there is a surcharge on your license that you're going to be required to pay. It's a $4,500 surcharge. You will get 2 years to pay it, but you have to do it. Do you understand? DWI is big business in Harris County, and it will actually in Texas. I tell you, if it continues, one of 2 things happen. You're going to be broke or you're going to end up in prison. One button on your phone, $50, wherever you want to go. You know what I mean? I hope that you get it now before it becomes too late. How do you plead to the offense? Guilty or not guilty? I will find you guilty. I will follow the agreement, send you to it. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, the year. I have to suspend your license. I'm going to do it for a year. Just if you do well throughout the probation, come back and we can talk about a license.
Here's yet another driving under the influence case. This time, it's Mr. Paw facing charges for driving while intoxicated. It's pathetic how these adults know that driving under the influence not only endangers lives, but also leaves a permanent mark on their record.
Good morning, Ms. Cepeda. You were charged with 2 cases. The one that you're pleading on is the DWI. On that case, you're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement where they're offering you 30 days in jail with credit for the 19 days that you've done. Understand this charge will go on your record. It's going to be there for the rest of your life. You can never take it off. Do you understand? Is this 2 or 1, Josh?
This is, what, we're pleading on DWI and dismissing the prostitution case.
Right, but I mean, is this,
Yes, Your Honor, the first.
We can talk. Well,
are you on probation or parole at this time?
Her felony case, she's scheduled for a TRAS. I think they offered a probation on her possession case.
You need to be careful, man. You know, if you get on felony probation, you have to live like you have a halo above your head. Because you can be facing a lot of time elsewhere. You understand? This case is going to go on your record. It's going to be there forever. What you need to understand is that from now on, you're facing a minimum of 30 days in jail for any new cases. The other thing is with your record, if you get pulled over in a car, you need to understand that it's a very good possibility they're going to harass you just because of this. Do you understand? So don't give them the ammunition to mess with you. You understand? It's not hard. One button on a phone will take you anywhere you want to go. 30, 40, 50 bucks, really. You understand? Giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You could be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, it's going to go on your record. You can never take it off. You understand? This is what you want to do. Okay, how do you plead to the offense of driving while intoxicated? Guilty or not guilty? Understand you're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine, but I'll sentence you to the 30 days in jail, credit for the 19. Also understand there's fees and surcharges in amount of like $3,500 here. I will waive it, but if you come back on a second DWI, get ready because it's a $6,000 surcharge. All right? All right. Good luck, man. I am going to suspend your license for 90 days as well. Run it, CC. Okay, good luck, Mr. King. All right, thanks, Judge.
Judge, are you ready for a
Just
Spanish
abandon
GFJ?
No, I'm not. Come up, counsel. Yes, sir.
The audacity of this man is enough to drive anyone crazy. Here's Mr. Rosa, facing charges of theft after blatantly disregarding the law and treating someone else's property like his own.
Good morning, Mr. Gafour. Sir, you're charged with 2 cases. You're charged with theft. You're also charged with criminal trespass. You've worked out an agreement where they're offering you 20 days on the theft with credit for 8 days that you've already done. Shh. Is this how you understand it?
I understand it's time served. I'll be getting out today.
Correct.
Okay, yes.
What you need to understand that this will go on your record. It's going to be there for the rest of your life. From now on, you're facing a minimum of 90 days in jail for any new cases that you pick up. Do you understand?
Understand.
The theft can also be used to enhance your punishment at some point to a felony. If you continue to pick up theft cases, at some point they will hit you with a felony and you're looking at years instead of days. Do you understand?
Understand.
You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers, the right to be arraigned, charged, read to open court. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. So once you plead guilty, it'll go on your record. You can never take it off.
Okay.
Is this what you want to do?
Yes.
How do you plead to the offense, sir?
Yes.
I will find you guilty. I will sentence you to 20 days in jail, give you credit for the 8 days that you've done. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
In this case, Mr. Robinson is facing charges of tampering with government records after trying to pass off a fake license plate, as if the rules of the road don't apply to him.
You are Lester Robinson. Mr. Robinson, you're charged of tampering with the government record. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
One moment, Judge, I apologize, it's loading right now. On December 9th, 2024, a traffic stop was initiated for a defective left headlamp at Will Clayton Parkway in Harris County, Texas. The officer made contact with the defendant, the driver, and sole occupant of the vehicle. The officer ran the temporary license plate, which came back to a different motor vehicle. The defendant stated he put the license plate on the vehicle and was fully aware that the temporary tag belonged to a different vehicle.
Robinson, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Do you have a valid Texas driver license, sir?
Sure.
Can you run his license, please? Okay, you're not allowed to drive unless you have a valid Texas driver license and liability insurance in your name, and I'm making that a condition of your bond. Do not drive unless you have both. Do you understand? If you violate these conditions, I'm going to revoke your bond. You will go to jail. No more PR bonds, sir.
Eligible, Your Honor.
All right. We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. After that, we'll just get you out of here. When you come back, please have a lawyer. All right. Please.
Finally, this last case is centered on Mr. Clark, facing charges for interfering with a public servant after repeatedly refusing to leave a bar. It's outrageous how this man went too far to escalate a minor conflict when he could have easily walked away.
You are Joseph Clark. Mr. Clark, you're charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and/or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, good morning, Alex.
Right. Officer was working an extra job at a bar in Harris County, Texas. The defendant was asked to leave by bar employees because he got into an altercation with another individual. The defendant returned several times despite being told to leave by the officer. The officer then attempted to escort the defendant away from the parking lot, but the defendant continued to walk towards the entrance of the bar. During the escort, the defendant continuously pulled his arms away from the officer, and the officer then attempted to detain the defendant, who again pulled his arms away and locked his legs to prevent him from being moved.
All right, Mr. Clark, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Please do not go back to this location. Do you understand? How old are you, sir?
25 years old.
What do you do for a living?
Blue collar work. I'm in the oil field.
Okay, how much money do you make a month?
If I work overtime, what I do on the side, depends. Probably I'll say like $5,000 a month.
Okay, we're gonna reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer.
I have a lawyer. I actually hired.
I don't want to get into anything. Have you already hired a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Who is it?
Slider and Sharma.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's do this. Let me just have you take a seat while we wait for them to come back. I'm going to create bond conditions that you're not to go back to this location, and that's it. Don't get in any more trouble. Don't pick up a new case. Otherwise, I'm going to revoke your bond. I know you want to say something. Don't.
Yes, sir.
I mean, just a bunch of DAs here. Anything you say, they can use it against you. Just wait for your lawyer to get here. Ask them the question, and then they can get back to me.
Can I say one more thing?
Don't. Just don't. I know you're itching. Don't. I'm trying to protect you.
No, this is nothing.
Don't.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just wait for your lawyer. I promise you. Don't be here short.
Yes, sir.
I'll have you sign a receipt with Victoria. We'll have you just take a seat in the back while we wait for Mr. Slider.
Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.